And we are live. How's everybody doing? We're going to go ahead and invest. Let's see if we get the socials going. There we go. All right. Wanted to do a little education here. Today we're going to invest 1,000 into Robinhood. We're going to start an account, right? We're going to start 1,000. It's a little over 1,000 because it was tough to get exactly 1,000. The market moved up, so I had to sell everything. Point is, let's go ahead and get started. We got about 15 minutes before the market closes. We're going to do this live though. So yeah, we got 1,100. We'll add to this portfolio as time goes by. Maybe each month, every 2 weeks. Haven't decided yet. We'll see how it turns out. I want you to get a good understanding, of how I might do things, how you might do things differently, but it's mostly education, not investing advice at all, right? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start. You can see on the bottom who we're starting with. We're going to start with Tesla, right? And if you haven't used Robinhood, I think this is the best app by far, the simplest to use. I mean, we can create a watch list. We have the growth challenge here, watch list. But if you don't have the watch list, you just type in TSLA. That's the ticker symbol for Tesla. Boom, right? We're going to get straight through this. Try not to waste any time. All right, so we're at Tesla, right? Okay, great. There's a stock price, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go to our order. So buy Tesla, order type. We're going to do, there's all these different type of orders. We're just going to do a regular buy order. We don't need a limit order. We're not buying 1 million shares, right? We're just buying in dollars. We're not even buying shares. Why? Because with 1,000, it needs to be more structured, and not everybody has, 365. The price moves. So let's just use the money you have. We're going to start with 200. We're going to buy $200 worth of Tesla, which is about a little more than half of a share, right? So you hit review. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Okay, review, and we're going to buy Tesla. Done. There we go. So now we can see down here in the left-hand corner, this is desktop, by the way, also. We can see on the left, we have $200 of Tesla. It's already moving, right? $200.11, blah, blah, blah. So we can track today's return. We can track total return in this box of data. Portfolio diversity, it tells me 100% because that's the only thing we've bought. We'll come back to this later, but I wanted to just kind of walk you through how to use it. We have a comment here. Let me go to the comment. Oh, how you doing, Hassan? Howdy, howdy. All right. So next we're going to go to, we'll come back to this. I just want to get through the buying process first. Okay. All right. So next we're going to do is go to Bitcoin. We're going to Bitcoin for next. So we're going to do crypto. It's going to look a little different for crypto. All right. So here we go. Bitcoin. It's already on USD. You could buy it in Bitcoin, but that's a lot. We're going to stick with USD, Bitcoin. Okay. We have $900 left, $919 left. For Bitcoin, let's see, we're going to do 100 because we're going to do something a little different. We're going to be buying MicroStrategy also, which is Bitcoin well, let's not say that yet because I'm going to put some of these clips inside of a different video. So we're going to do 100, or you could actually just click it here. Look, there we go. I didn't even know you could do that. Review, submit purchase. It feels so nerve-wracking, right? Submit purchase, boom. There we go. Now we got $100 of Bitcoin. 99.16. Well, it charged just a little bit of interest. So this is a good example. That's what it's going to charge you. What it charged me, probably like 90 cents. I don't know. I don't need to get into all that. We got $99 of Bitcoin. All right. So next, and we'll do the watch list after that. Next, we're going to go to MicroStrategy, MSTR. And we'll talk about what this is afterwards. You're probably wondering why, but we'll talk about this afterwards. Also, in the next video tonight, I'm going to release one that talks about the why, right? What is the why of these different purchases? We'll talk a bit about it today, but okay. So MicroStrategy, let's do 100. Let's see if it gives us that automated. Does it pop up for this one? Doesn't. All right. So $100 review. Make sure I did everything right. Boom. Okay, we got $100 of MicroStrategy, MSTR. Hopefully I didn't buy the wrong stock. So it looked like this was cheaper. It's already moving. Okay, great. We got our average cost now, $387. We'll come back to this. Just get through these buys. Okay. Next, we're going to go to Ethereum. Okay, make sure ETH, Ethereum. How much of Ethereum do we want to buy? Let's do 100. Oh, look. So it looks like when you buy crypto, it gives you so you could do it by the coin, right? By the share, by the coin, or you could do it by USD, obviously. And this one gives you, already automated responses. So we're going to go with 100. Review order. It's as simple as this. Review order, submit by. Okay, so yeah, crypto is a little more expensive. Look, it took about what, 80 cents, 88 cents on Robinhood, 89 cents, whatever, moving around. So it took about 80 cents. Boom, done. All right, so we own Ethereum. Now we own Ethereum. This is 20% of our stake, but that's irrelevant because we're going to buy a new stock. How much time we got left? 10 minutes before the market closes. We could still buy afterwards, but so we're going to go next to BMNR, Bitmine Technologies. All right, so Bitmine, we're going to buy 200 of Bitmine, or should we just do 100? Maybe we should save a little bit and buy something different. No, you know what? It's in a good position. We're going to go 200 of Bitmine at $31. There we go. We got Bitmine. All right. So this is now 28% of our portfolio. Hopefully I did this math right. Done. Now we got Bitmine. All right. And last but not least, you guys can see it on the screen. We're going for another crypto, Chainlink. Okay, LINK. That's where you put the ticker symbol in. All right, so for Chainlink, we're at $16.82. This is the big winner. Chainlink, we're gonna do 300. Okay, we're gonna do $300 of Chainlink, see where this puts us. It's about 1,600. Submit, there we go. All right, so this episode's portfolio, that's all we're gonna do for this episode. I mean, not the whole episode, but for this week or this episode's what we're adding to the portfolio. Man, that one was expensive. $3? Sheesh. So you probably have to pay Robinhood a certain amount to reach. Better to invest than to trade. Okay, now we have our watch list. So we're not really going over how to build a watch list, but I created mine. You just hit the plus button, right? Create a watch list, and you can type in whatever you want to call it. So I got mine as the growth challenge. I might change it. You can edit, whatever. So here's our list: Bitmine, Tesla, MicroStrategy, Chainlink, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Okay. Oh, we're a little slow here. Computer's a little slow. All right. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. We still have $119 of buying power. We're not going to use that. Okay. We will not be using that right now. There's other ways to look at your account. This is not my specific account, but this is an account challenge. So we're going to talk about why. Okay, let's talk about the why behind these. So we'll just click on Tesla, let you see that. We're going to go to Tesla first. This is in our watch list. So right now, Tesla is now 20% of this $1,000 portfolio, okay, 20%, you have a little over half a share, 0.64 of a share. Your average cost, $308.56. That'll change over time if we add Tesla. And there really is no total return because we just started today. We just started today. So there is no total return. But that's our profile for Tesla. So why Tesla? Well, I'm going to talk about this, like I said, more later, but let's talk a little bit about why Tesla. We'll go to the max. Okay. We'll see the trend. You can see the trends here on Robinhood. Tesla's been consolidating. It really peaked. Tesla hasn't made a new high since November of 2021. So we're coming into what, 5 years, 4 years of consolidation. So my big thesis on Tesla, and everybody probably has heard it before, is robo taxi. Okay. Robo taxi number one. Well, let's do it more general. You have transportation. Okay. You have transportation. They're disrupting transportation. They're disrupting labor. Okay. And they're disrupting energy. And forget the word disrupting. These are the segments that I believe they're going to dominate on. Based off all my research. Also, you can find, some more research in the description. You can find the newsletter. You can find an investing playbook, right? There's more than just these stocks. I think I'm going to add everything from that playbook in here. So anyways, Tesla, you have autonomous robo taxi, right? Let's just jump into it. The future is robo taxi. Okay. The future is going to be autonomous AI taxis or transportation. Humans, are they going to drive? Yes, but not as much. They're probably not going to want to. If it becomes safer, it becomes a standard, there's more regulation, towards that, then you want to own the future, right? Everybody's scared of the robots. Well, you might want to own them then. Okay. At least your financial situation would reflect, the advancement in technology. And I like disruptive technology. There's a time to be in more defensive stuff, but right now is the prime time. Right now is the prime time, in my view. This is not financial advice, to be in technology. Why didn't I buy Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta? I think Tesla has a bigger outlook from this point, right? I think they have more upside. Can we add those? Sure. But when I look at the charts, understanding the narrative, how negative the sentiment is, I'm much more bullish on Tesla at this point. Now, if Tesla was at 500, it might be a little different, right? But the lower it goes from here, the more bullish you want to be on Tesla, because price is going to, it's going back up. That's what everybody's worried about. They're worried about the price. As soon as it goes up, Tesla's the best stock in the world, right? So transportation, and that's going to cover a number of things with autonomous vehicles. You're talking semi trucks that can go forever, whatever. Yeah, there probably will be no steering wheels. There'll be no pedals because they're just going to be autonomous. They go underground, right? We don't know what that future is going to look like, but the future is what? The future is automated vehicles, electric. Why? Because it's going to be cheaper. And then also, it's just going to look a lot different. It's going to be like an iPhone, like a super AI iPhone or a chat. You can probably talk to the car just like a person, right? And then the next segment there is energy storage. This one's big. You got to think about Tesla's, and we can go a little through Robinhood, see what features they have. But when you go through and you understand that AI needs a lot of power generation, so there's a lot of power generation technologies. Tesla is basically using these solar panels. Now, for the consumer, you have solar roofs, right? The future, everybody in states or places where they have a lot of sun, they're going to be using these solar panels to power their home or to at least generate electricity. That's not the big thing on Tesla, though. The big thing for Tesla is going to be these solar farms. So you got to think bigger. Solar farms, right? Gigantic solar farms. Go look it up, image it, YouTube it. And all this farmland, whatever it is, solar farms collecting the sun's energy. How much does it cost to get the sun's energy? Well, it costs the technology that you build it. The sun is giving it to you for free. And then, the solar panels absorb it. That's going to get efficient. In the future, it's going to be more efficient. And then they feed to the mega pack battery. So these giant batteries that they're getting better too, that store the sun's energy. Next thing you know, instead of, to power a city or to power, a commercial like a little commercial industry, like let's say a mall. How much electricity does it cost to power a mall, right? So whoever owns that mall, they have to pay a certain cost. Well, if you have giant solar farms near that mall or somewhere in the distant, and they're powering that mall, the cost is going to be a tenth. Everything gets cheaper because that's the number one thing that you pay for is energy, electricity, right? So a lot of revenue will go towards that. Now, the biggest segment for Tesla, the biggest one that I'm most excited about, that's interesting, is replacing labor, right? Disrupting labor. This is the Optimus bot that can do what? That can do construction, factory work, walk your dog, do your dishes, right? At some point, there's going to be robots. That is the future. Is it scary? Yeah, sure. It's scary as hell. It's so different, right? You have to adapt. But if you're talking, you want to own it financially, right? In the future, maybe you don't have a job. You want to at least own the robots, right? So that's my theory on Tesla so far. Now, the technicals, that's a whole nother story. Technicals are a whole nother story. We're not getting into technicals today. Let's go to our next investment. All right. Should we use the watch list? Let's go to home. So you hit this, get the home, go to the home button. Ooh, look at, we're dropping. What do we got? 1259. We're about to drop. Okay, cool. So our next one. Now, if you do click on Tesla, if you're newer, you click on Tesla, check this out. It's a little slow right now. You can scroll down, look at all the information. What is the market cap? It's a little higher level stuff. You can see all the stories. So if you want to read the stories, you can read the stories. Now, what I like is on mobile, you can actually have an AI generated news feed. There's an AI generated news feed that gives you more up to date stuff. I don't think it's on desktop. Doesn't look like it has it on desktop. Okay. You can see the earnings of Tesla, the previous earnings, replay the earnings call, read the full report. Oh, they lost a star. You can read the full report on, an analysis, which is high level nerdy stuff. The easy one is just look at the bulls. What do the bulls say, right? This is the bull case for Tesla. Here's the bear case for Tesla. You can read those two. It shows updates. August 4th was the latest update. So they update it pretty good. You can read about it. This is trading trends, so insider stuff, hedge funds. Robinhood's good. And I know a lot of other apps have this, but it's a lot simpler to use, I think. All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, so our next one is, sorry, I'm cold as hell in this house. I wish it was warmer. I can't even think straight. Okay. Let's go to let's use our watch list so that people can, because I kind of want to get a better feel for it instead of typing it in every time. All right, so we got our watch list over here, growth challenge watch list. We looked at Tesla. Now let's just go to, and look, it shows you the price, how much is up for the day. Next, I think we did Bitcoin, right? So thesis for Bitcoin, we only have 100 in Bitcoin right now, 99, because, we're also in MicroStrategy, which is another Bitcoin play. The thesis for Bitcoin, to make it, quite simple, I think there's really two important things. Number one is that Bitcoin is now a $2 trillion asset. It's not going anywhere, right? JP Morgan it's the biggest bank in the world. They've been investing heavily in Bitcoin. Okay. Now, on top of that, BlackRock is the biggest asset manager. Everybody says, oh, BlackRock controls the world. Well, they're buying a lot of Bitcoin. They actually have the best performing ETF of all time, IBIT, which we could have bought IBIT too, right? That's not terrible. That's actually, I believe it's in my newsletter in the investor playbook. So big people are buying it. It's game over. Like the big players are buying Bitcoin. Why are they doing it? Because it is digital gold. It is just like gold in the old days. Why is gold so valuable? And a lot of new people and millennials, we don't really know, because we never lived in that era. But gold was the one thing that governments could not debase. They couldn't remove the value of it, right? They couldn't create more of it. So Bitcoin's and gold's best thing, their best, the reason people believe in it is because of its scarcity. It is scarce, right? You are more attracted to things that are scarce because you can't get them. It's harder to get. Stocks, on the other hand, you just buy the stock, not that, but they can create more stocks, right? Companies' market caps expand, the price doesn't. You cannot create more Bitcoins. There's only so many Bitcoins in the world. Gold, there's so much gold in the world. It just hasn't been mined all the way, right? There's gold on other planets. Well, we don't know that for sure, but there is gold on comets in the sky. And guess what? We're going to space, the future of space. So there's a lot more gold. We find more gold if you add more money to the system. Let's say you concentrate all the resources towards you concentrate all your resources towards mining gold, you're going to find more gold. So I'm not saying gold is a trash investment, but compared to Bitcoin, Bitcoin definitely outperforms gold. It's not even close over a long-term basis. Stop thinking short-term. A lot of people are like, oh, well, this week and this month and this year, Bitcoin outperforms every other asset class, crypto in general, but Bitcoin is the gold standard for crypto, right? So Bitcoin is scarce. Everyone's adopting it. The U.S. government, I mean, here's your the most bullish case for Bitcoin. The U.S. government is buying Bitcoin, right? They're pro crypto. And I can go into that all day. I'm excited about that one, but we're not going to go through all that right now. We'll save that for later. We're going to save that for some other time, right? So crypto also tells you about Bitcoin here. It was the first cryptocurrency launch, but that doesn't really tell you why. It just gives you a little nerdy background knowledge on it. It's the first, There's 21 million. There's only ever going to be 21 million. It's never been hacked. It's, other supercomputers have been hacked. It's scarce. There's less of it. More people want it. There's less of it. That's why you should be bullish on Bitcoin, right? And it's a technology that basically stores value, period. All your hard work, all your labor, all the stuff you ever do, guess what happens? It gets distorted because our system, the fiat system, we want to blame the Fed, but it's just the system we're in. It debases your currency. So you shouldn't save cash. It's stupid. It's really stupid to save cash unless you're saving it for what? To invest. Other than that, it's just getting destroyed every year. Well, Bitcoin does the best job of retaining that value, right? The volatility is crazy. It goes up and down, but over time, it's higher. That's not going to stop anytime soon. And everybody wants to think of the worst case scenario, but that's kind of, you think of the worst case scenario for everything. It's like, okay, well, why own anything, right? Because you want to still bet on the best case. You want to bet on the highest probability, which is the US will be the dominant player. Crypto adoption continues to soar. Bitcoin is the number one safe haven, right? That's not really okay, that's a little more technical, strategy technical, but over time, it's the scarcest asset and it retains its value. Okay, now why MSTR? All right. I'm going to explain more about this later, but MicroStrategy basically owns, it's the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin. So we got 100 in here, 100 and was I going to do 200 in MicroStrategy? I guess I was going to keep it to 100. We'll keep it to 100 because we're going to add other stocks down the road. So we'll keep this at 100. We don't want to go all in everywhere yet. By the way, this is a great trade. I don't want to, okay, this is not about trading, but this MicroStrategy is a really good setup right now. Okay. So MicroStrategy, why MicroStrategy? Well, they're leveraged Bitcoin. They basically outperform Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy outperforms Bitcoin. You can see that back in 2020, it was at 15 bucks. I think it probably got lower to like 10. So look how crazy this is. It got down to about 10 bucks. You can't see it on this chart. MicroStrategy was at 10 bucks. Okay. In 2020, 5 years later, the all-time high was what did we get to? Did we get to 500? I think we hit 500. Let's turn this into a line chart. Oh yeah, they got advanced charts here. Okay. Candlesticks. It's probably too advanced. We got up to 550. So as low as 10 bucks, it got down to 9, but 10 bucks all in 5 years from 10 to 550. What is that? That is a 10x or 1,000% return would be 100. So this is a 50x return in 5 years, where Bitcoin did a 10, 11x, right? So it outperforms Bitcoin on average. It's like 2 times Bitcoin, about 2 times the speed. Now, when it drops faster than Bitcoin, right? But the whole thing here is, especially if you're new, you just got to understand MicroStrategy owns 3% of the entire Bitcoin supply. That is a massive amount. No one else owns more except for, I think there's like one crypto exchange has more Bitcoin. And then the US government, do they have more Bitcoin? They might have the most because of all the crypto they've collected. ETFs, yes, but those are not a single entity. ETFs altogether have more Bitcoin for sure. But as a single entity, MicroStrategy has the most Bitcoin by far. Also, their strategy, their treasury asset strategy, which is we're going to create products off of our Bitcoin holdings, that's unique also. Nobody else is doing that. So they're very rare. But the only thing here is this is leveraged Bitcoin. Okay, it's leveraged Bitcoin and it's been working. It outpaces Bitcoin. All right, let's go to the next one. Ethereum. This is the toughest one to explain, honestly. I think it's even tougher to explain than don't go to Ethereum Classic either. ETH. I think it's tougher to explain than freaking than Chainlink. Right. So Ethereum, we got $100 in Ethereum. This is what we're starting with. This is our standard. Okay. And average cost 3,700. That's a pretty good price for where we are in the cycle. It's a pretty good price. Now Ethereum is what? Bitcoin is digital gold. Ethereum is digital real estate. That's what I like to think of it, is digital real estate. It's multiple things, but it's digital real estate in the sense that the future is going to include blockchain technology, meaning all your computers, your devices, your systems are going to have a layer like the internet. You know how everything's layered with the internet? There's going to be a layer of blockchain technology. All the blockchains that layer are basically small little utility operating systems, right? So you know how your iPhone updates? Well, they're putting in a new system. That's exactly what's going to happen over time. There's going to be new updates through a blockchain smart contract system. What is a smart contract? That's a whole rabbit hole. Just understand that these are self-executing contracts that eliminate the cost of doing business and increase efficiency. Therefore, no, you're stupid not to use it. Like you're going to lose money not using it. So everybody's adopting this. Now Ethereum, I call it real estate, digital real estate. And there's other ways to think about it because it's the platform on which the most smart contracts are built on top of. So it is sort of like, yeah, it competes against Solana, it competes against other, layer one blockchains, but this one has the most developers, okay, has the smartest people. Well, that can be argued. Everybody's going to debate that, but it has the most developers. It's, first mover advantage. Everybody thought Ethereum was dead. It's not dead. It just takes time. BlackRock is building on it. So the biggest institutions, here's your best credibility here. The biggest institutions in the world are building on Ethereum. They're not building on Solana. Okay. So I'm much more bullish on Ethereum. I'm not talking bad about Solana. It's going to be great, whatever. But this is a safer bet. I think Solana can be disrupted a lot easier than Ethereum can. Okay. Ethereum also is like a treasury, but we'll keep it at real estate. So basically you build technology on top of Ethereum. Another analogy might be like cloud computing, which is a whole computer science thing. If you're not into it, it's kind of tough, but just think of this way, all internet, right? Most of the internet, even Meta, Instagram, Facebook, all these apps that you use are running off of cloud. They're running off of what cloud? Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Cloud. So those are the three dominant players that most businesses build their websites and build their internet services on top of. That's how you can think of Ethereum, which is the future, is they're going to be building blockchain smart contract services on top of Ethereum. So therefore, Ethereum collects a revenue and it pays you out in a dividend. So you can think of this like a dividend stock. It pays a yield, right? Right now, I don't know what the staking yield is. What is it, like 4%? But it's more like real estate. Bitcoin does not pay a yield. Bitcoin is just never going to be, it is gold. It's gold. Like you ain't going to attack Bitcoin. There's nothing like Bitcoin. Is the most decentralized. Nobody can mess with it. Ethereum pays a yield, and it's the future of, utility services when it comes to the next layer of the internet and decentralized finance or finance in general. Everybody's plugging into Ethereum to use the services, so you get a yield and you own a very prestigious technology, right? So remember so that's why we have Ethereum. So remember MicroStrategy? We're not going so deep on it. Well, MicroStrategy outpaced Ethereum because of its strategy, great strategy. Well, guess what? Now they're doing this with Ethereum, and the number one stock for there's not really a number one. It's everybody's debating on it. I like Bitmine. I'll give you a little story about Bitmine. Okay. So Bitmine is tanking right now. It don't matter. You want to buy the dip. Okay. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling anybody buy the dip, but this is where you get the most. You buy the dip in a bull market. We're in a freaking bull market. There's more crypto regulation coming. I'm going to get too excited for this, but you want to own the future here, right? So Bitmine, what is Bitmine? Bitmine basically buys a bunch of Ethereum. They're aiming to be the MicroStrategy, right? The leveraged Bitcoin, leveraged Ethereum in the stock market. So Ethereum is not a stock, it is a cryptocurrency. It's on exchanges, but Bitmine, you have exposure of Ethereum through Bitmine, and what they do is they sell debt and equity. So they actually debase their own stock by creating more of it. So you're like, oh, that's not good. They create more of it, so my share is worth less. But what they do with that money that they raise, they buy more Ethereum. So they're actually increasing Ethereum per share in the same way that MicroStrategy is increasing Bitcoin per share, right? Now, there's other people trying this, but guess what? Bitmine has the most. I believe they're up to $3 billion of Ethereum. They have the most Ethereum, and that margin is increasing. Of course, this could change over time, but Bitmine is increasing their Ethereum per share, just like MicroStrategy. Remember, MicroStrategy did a 50x. So of course, that was from COVID, but it outpaces Bitcoin over time for a lot of reasons. Think of it this way: institutions, the big money, that's what you're waiting for. The big money. The big money does not want to do private keys. Everybody thinks that's the dream of crypto. Everybody's going to get their private keys, keep it away from the government. Well, now the government is embracing crypto. Not only that, they have no choice because it keeps the financial system audited from a financial collapse. They need it to survive. They need crypto. They need blockchain technology to survive financial crisis, right? To continue for the US and every other country to be dominant, right? To continue, this is always a game. Things are not just settled. We're always either climbing or falling when it comes to war, when it comes to finance, when it comes to technology. There is no steady game, right? If you're jogging, you're just, if you're jogging, you're in place. You need to go fast. My point is the adoption of blockchain technology and crypto is inevitable, right? It has to happen, just like the internet. And you want to own the best of the best. I forgot why I even, I got a little excited about this. But the point is Bitmine is collecting the most Ethereum, right? Which is different than Bitcoin. And if they outperform Ethereum, you're really looking at, it's at $31 right now. You're probably looking at over the next 5 years, if we just do a model, I hate to say it, you're probably looking at a $300 Bitmine in 5 years, right? We don't know, but it could be huge. And if it does like MicroStrategy, let's say Ethereum doubles or triples. Now we're getting a little more technical here. If Ethereum triples by next year, Bitmine does a 6x. So Bitmine does, let's see, what would that be? A 6x? 5 would be 150. So you're probably looking at $180, somewhere around there, right? Right around 200. So it could be a good investment. Now, the reason I'm excited about it, not just because they do this, a lot of other, there's a couple other companies who are doing this strategy, the Ethereum strategy. It's because they have the best, most prestigious Wall Street investors. My favorite, Tom Lee. Tom Lee is the number, like, I don't care what nobody says. Tom Lee's the best Wall Street analyst. He's been the most correct about the stock market. He's very bold. He's humble as hell, a super humble guy. Asian dude. He worked for JP Morgan back in the day, and his work is I really look up to him. He has great work, right? He's one of my favorite analysts by far. My point is, you guys are like, oh, I don't know who that is. Tom Lee is on the board of directors, and he's a very stand-up guy. He's not going to be on the board if they're really a fraud. So he's on there. Number two, and he can attract a lot of institutions. That's the big thing. Number two, right? Kathy Wood. Kathy Wood is huge. So she's bought a lot into it. Number three, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a billionaire who gave Mark Zuckerberg 500,000 to start, or 500 million to start Facebook. He started PayPal, and he is the co-founder of Palantir. So he put in, I think, 500 million. I think he put about a 9% stake, 500 million. So what are they going to do? They're going to attract other big investors. And I think Bitmine is going to outperform. All right, next, let's go to Chainlink. This is by far I think, the best opportunity. All right, so we got 300 in Chainlink. So I made this position bigger because of, not only is it my favorite, but I think it has the most upside out of all these picks. Not just in the short term, we never know, but in the long term, I think it has the most upside. This portfolio, we're gonna be using this for a while. Right, we're going to keep adding to this portfolio over time. And now I'm not adding a massive amount, right? But I want to create something that you can look at and say, oh, those are risky assets. Bro, it doesn't matter. What matters is where we are in the cycle, not is it risky or not. A lot of people have a bad reputation with risk when in fact, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Nvidia, those are all risky assets and they're the best performers over the past 15 years, right? So the question isn't, is it risky? The question is, does it dominate the market in its niche? That is the question, right? So Chainlink, what is Chainlink? So if you can think of Bitcoin is digital gold, right? Can't be debased. Nobody can touch it. You can't mess with it. It is proof. It is digital property that you can't remove. I mean, it's freaking digital gold, right? Next, you move to what? How you doing, my guy? When are you coming back? Hit me up, Tomas. Next is Ethereum. What is Ethereum? Ethereum is the cloud computing services. It's the next generation of internet. It is basically, digital real estate. So you collect a yield on Ethereum and everything is built on top of it. So it's a platform, right? You own Ethereum, you're owning a piece of the thing that builds the next generation or the next iteration of technologies when it comes to security, transparency, and efficiency. Okay, that's a bunch of buzzwords. The point is, stable coins. Here's one example: stable coins, which is a faster, cheaper, better way to transact dollars. Is those stable coins are built on Ethereum. Now, what is Chainlink? Blockchain technology is, you have AI, energy storage, and I'm going to give you a little rundown on that. Blockchain technology is the next iteration to counter, or to not to counter, but to really be compatible with AI. AI is a crazy thing, right? It's like an atomic bomb. Blockchain technology constrains artificial intelligence because it creates a rules-based system that cannot be changed and it self-executes. So you can't manipulate blockchains. That's why they're so important. You cannot manipulate them, right? Now, the thing about blockchain technologies, right, are these blockchains, Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, they cannot speak to each other without a connection. They don't inherently speak to each other. They're like having a cell phone or a computer with no connection to other computers, no internet connection. They cannot speak. Chainlink is an oracle. It's not even a blockchain. It's blockchain technology. It's called oracles, and they connect each blockchain to each other. This is not just crypto. We're also talking JP Morgan's blockchain, Wells Fargo, Citigroup's blockchain. All these banks, Goldman Sachs, they all built their own blockchains. You're not going to see that in the news because it's too early. They don't understand it, right? But they all built their own blockchains, including other countries' central banks. They all have their own blockchains, but they don't connect. They need a connector. They need a bridge. That bridge is Chainlink. Chainlink is the number one technology that brings that connectivity along with security. Does it compete? Sure, but the competitors are trash. They do not have the security. They do not have the total value lock. This is all nerdy stuff, but Chainlink is by far the monopoly in this system. Why is it important? Well, nothing works without it. The US government just came out with their world domination on crypto, saying we're going to be the number one crypto. And I'm going to make a video about this later, but we're going to be the number one crypto, nation in the world, right? Here's how we're going to do it. 166 pages. Guess who the first technology featured is that shows how they're connecting banks, regulators, the US government, crypto public, bank, finance, public cryptos, private cryptos, Chainlink. Chainlink is the technology. This is huge to connect the entire system. Okay. It will power the financial system in the future. You're early as hell. This is the biggest stake. Why we are 29%. Now, most people say, well, that's risky. Are you stupid? What are you retiring next week? You want to be big in the things with the biggest moat, right? They have the most upside. This is like Bitcoin in 2015. That's how early it is. Okay. It is not Bitcoin in terms of what it does, but in terms of the total value, the total addressable market, right? Quadrillions of transactions. Every transaction will need to pay the link token in order to receive that service, and they're going to need it. All right. So I think this is the biggest opportunity. You're thinking now, how big is it? Who knows? I think my price prediction for Chainlink is somewhere by 2035 or in the 2030s. I think we can go to 500 by the end of 5 years, 500. Who knows? But I think we can hit $1 trillion market cap. Right now we're around 12, 13, right? So this is this is about a 50x return, okay? 50x over the next 10 years. 50x over the next 10 years. That's really far out. Okay, there's no promises there. But the way where we're headed right now, biggest opportunity. Bigger than it's not bigger than Tesla in terms of its actual domination, but it's bigger as far as how fast and how wide this technology can reach. And really, it's about price. I think this price can go up a lot more than Bitcoin, Tesla, Ethereum. Okay. So that's my thesis why. Do we want to see technicals? I mean, this was a long, this was already 40 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it right there. I'm going to come out with another video for newer people later, but let's track this portfolio, right? So this is our investing. Okay, here's our investing portfolio. It's going to look a little distorted because, money got taken out of here way in the past. It's been at zero. So we're going to start from August. This is our August portfolio, right? So we're mid 2025. This is the greatest bull market setup of all time. Okay, I want to talk about that too later. So right now we're going to continue to grow this, right? I'm going to add more onto this, but today so far we have Tesla, we have Ethereum, and I think there's a way to change how to see this. I wish I could just do it as total. Let me see. My face is in the way too. Let me turn this off on the bottom. Let me turn this banner off. I wish there's a way. I think you can do it. I don't know how to do it on here. I've never done it, but growth challenge. Let's see. Edit list. No, you can't. There should be a way to show by the amount of equity in there. I'll have to figure it out. Anyways, this is what we're starting with, okay? And you guys kind of got a little bit of the why. You'll learn more later. Okay, Tesla is physical AI. Bitcoin is digital gold. Ethereum is digital real estate. Chainlink is freaking the damn internet. It connects everything. This is like investing in the internet itself. It connects everything, and it's going to collect. It's all data transfer. Anything that can be transferred data wise will need security, connectivity, transparency, and this is what Chainlink does, right? MicroStrategy is just a leveraged play on Bitcoin, and BMNR, same thing, leveraged play on Ethereum. We're going to add more later, but this is what we're starting with. I think that's all we have. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chats. I'm not really interested in doing any technicals right now because we spent a lot of time on this. We'll do purely technicals later. We'll talk about this later, but I want you guys to know this. We're going to keep up with this, okay? Meaning I haven't decided if I'm going to add stocks to this when I see, or I'm going to add more assets when the price is right. Not just because. I'm going to add it when I see, oh, okay, this is at a great risk reward. Finally, we get a good price. It makes sense. It's part of the theme, right? What are the biggest themes? AI, artificial intelligence. You already know that. Cloud computing, still a big theme. Blockchain technology, I think, is the other big one. Robotics, that's Tesla. This one's going to be huge. Robotics is going to be huge. You got robotics. You have gene editing, which is super early. You need deregulation for that. You have energy power generation. Those are huge. That's on fire right now. They're up too much. We're waiting for a pullback on these nuclear stocks. We're not getting it yet, right? And then we have so many things. Fintech. But we're going to end it right there. Appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. Keep in mind if you are, let me see, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, and so Twitter or X, I'm gonna have to comment all those things on there, like as far as how to reach me. Let's just put it this way. You can go to my YouTube, go to the YouTube. Underneath it, you have an investing playbook. That's just my framework for investing, not financial advice. It is purely educational purposes. Oh, okay, this is how I might construct a portfolio. These are the technologies and themes, and these are the best stocks that I see that kind of replicate, or the best investments that reflect these themes. Okay. And then you also have in there just the newsletter when I, say, hey, look, here's the macro setup, blah, blah, blah. You also have our Discord. Now I was able to change the link to, the link was expiring in 7 days. I didn't realize that. So now we have a link that doesn't expire. If you want to join the Discord, go to the YouTube, go to the link, and the description in YouTube. There is a link to the Discord. Go ahead and jump in there. It'll put you through, to make sure you're not AI or fake. It'll put you through some things you need to accomplish to show that you're a real person. There's a lot of stuff on the Discord that you can find, resources. There's conversations. I mean, just check it out. Okay. Especially if you're new. Also we have, macro. This is a little higher level, but macro course. There's a macro course on there to understand more of the macro. There's a free course on my YouTube, which is basically just getting you familiar why you should be invested. It's for beginners. It's new. Like, oh, okay, currency is getting debased. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is how you really make wealth over time. It outperforms everything else. Here's the different types of stocks, whatever, right? There's a macro course. I'm going to make one of those free. I have a beginner course. I'm going to turn that one free. I'm going to start that on the YouTube this week. Okay. This is understanding, because here's what I want people to understand. It's not just about going and investing. S&P 500, you're losing. You're losing on the S&P 500. Individual stock picking, being a self-directed investor is more important. I'm not saying never buy S&P. There's a time, but understanding how to optimize. Why the hell would you use your health and say, well, you know what? The best protein, the most optimal protein is egg whites. But then you're over there eating fried eggs in a burrito because it's still protein. It's irrelevant. You want to optimize your health as much as you can. You want to optimize your mindset. You want to optimize all these things, not at the sake of everything else, but you want to optimize your returns. Right now is a sweet spot for the market. Why? Because the three things that really drive markets: number one, technology. We have the best technology of all time. Number two, a very supportive, president or fiscal policy. He is literally trying to make the US the most powerful, dominant country again with technology. Okay, AI, blockchain tech, all this stuff. So he's pouring money like crazy into markets, or at least inviting. And then you have monetary policy. This one's tricky, right? Trump is fighting with the Treasury right now. And what's happening is the Fed has to cut rates. The Fed is going to have to cut rates, not to zero, but they're going to have to continue the cutting cycle. Even if they cut a little bit, that's okay. They're going to free up liquidity. The market's going to sniff this out within the next month. I think August is going to ramp right back up. The VIX spiked. I said, hey, you want to buy the VIX, not financial advice. You want to buy the VIX when the VIX spikes. 20 is the long-term average. Boom, we hit it. We came right back down. Now, is there a chance we retest 20? Sure. But the market is saying, oh, we just deleveraged, but we're still coming back. Right? We're just getting this party started. Right? The market, this is the strongest bull market setup of all time. I want to own the future. All right. That's all I have for you guys. You guys stay blessed. Take it easy. Make sure you get, eat clean today. Eat good. Make sure, eat for your brain. Live longer. Be healthy. You want to enjoy this, right? Financial freedom at the end of the tunnel isn't worth anything without love. It's worth nothing without your health. So take care of yourself. Take care of those people around you. Lift some weights. Get that testosterone in there. If you're female, it's good for you too. Doesn't matter. You guys stay blessed. I'll catch you next time. Thank you.